3 reasons why it's taking you forever to finish your miniature painting piece. To better tell you about these 3 things, I'm going to show you a vignette that took me around 2 years to create. And in those 2 years, I encountered these 3 demotivating factors that stretched out this supposed 1-month project into a whole 2 years. Meet Andres Bloodifacio, my own Warhammer take on my home country's national history. Now, before you guys react, KKK is actually a flag that stands for something that you're not thinking about, but something that is very, very important to Philippine history. And it's actually a flag that colonial revolutionaries raised and charged their way to liberate us from 300 years of Spanish colonization / oppression. Now, if you want to learn more about the model, skip ahead to the end, but stay if you want to know why it took me 2 years and how I was able to not exactly gracefully finish this model. First, the concept just wasn't relevant anymore. Initially, this was supposed to be a Black Templar conversion, and I wanted to make a spin on someone doing a last stand on Hell's Reach, a book in Warhammer 40k universe. And I was painting this for a competition, and I later found out that I was not painting and building this within the parameters of said competition. And like that and many other reasons, there's so many ways and opportunities for life to make our concept seem lame, out of place, not relevant, and that's one big demotivating factor of why we stopped painting. We just stopped finding the reason to finish the model, and in my case, because this model no longer fit the parameters of the tournament, I chucked him in my work in progress table with no plans to finish him because I had no idea how to finish him now. And as the months passed by, I keep seeing this half-built, half-painted miniature look at me and taunt me just the same way your incomplete works stare at you guys every day. Don't deny it. And I know the feeling, we all know that feeling, and we try our best to power through and just pick up the miniature every now and then and paint. Which leads us to the second reason why we get demotivated. A year had passed and this guy was still staring me at the face, and like many of us within the year, we've grown, we've changed the way we've painted, we've changed our techniques. And as I try to pick this guy up and try to paint him again, I realize I no longer paint like this anymore. Or I realize the blending of this is terrible and I don't want to fix it, or I could have done this better. And if I continue to paint this, I continue to stare at past me's cringiness, and it becomes another demotivating thing because as much as I want to paint it in the current style I'm doing, I'm also correcting past Louis' mistakes, and that just adds another hurdle. It adds another thing to do, and it just makes it a little bit more demotivating to finish. A friend had already challenged me to create a model in the theme of recycling, and that actually rejuvenated the concept of this model, and I recycled it from a Black Templar concept into a Blood Angel-esque type concept. And you would think that was the key, because I found relevance in the purpose of the model, I could now complete it. But by that time came, the paint job was something I was not completely happy about. I don't wet blend that way anymore. I don't do NMM that way anymore. In fact, if you notice, you can see some bits are actually painted in true metallics, some bits are painted in non-metallic. There are a lot of bits that are actually poorly blended, poorly fit. A lot of stuff is not at the standard that I was currently setting myself in. In the same vein, you guys might pick up an old project and say, you know what, I'll just toss this in some paint remover. Or you know what, the paint job or the paint or the building is way too deep and it takes more effort to just fix it. And in most cases, fixing a bad paint job can be demotivating. And I avoided that by just saying, you know what, I'm gonna roll with it. Whatever I painted in non-metallic metal, I'll keep. Everything, I'll just 2 metallic metal that thing. And my whole intention, my whole goal was just to finish this thing because I could not stand another year of this thing staring me in the face. Which brings me to the third demotivating factor and why us model painters have a hard time finishing our kits. Time. Not just finding the time, but over time, the longer we leave a project out there, I know, you know, we all know, it gets harder and harder to pick up an old kit that we've left on a work in progress table. Now, to be honest, this video I hope is more aimed to inspire you in how I will help you guys do it, because I don't have a formula, because I just kept picking up my brush and I just kept pushing myself to finish it. Because at the main point of this, or because at the end of it all, I realized it's better to have a bad paint job than to not have a paint job at all. So with that in mind, I just told myself, you know what, Louis? Just have fun with it. Just finish it, just paint. And that's when I came up with this funny, quirky concept to turn Philippine history into something Warhammer 40k. Yes, the paint job isn't that great. Yes, some of the bits aren't properly kit bashed. Yes, the wet blending's bad. Yes, it's very inconsistent. Yes, I messed up the ink wash. Yes, a lot of things. But also, yes, I finished it. Yes, after 2 years, this guy is no longer staring me at the face and taunting me. This guy no longer owns me. In fact, no whip will ever own this guy, because I will always be in control of my whip table, and that's what I want to impart to you guys. A paint job, no matter how bad or how good, is always going to be better than no paint job at all. And that's the short wisdom I want to impart to you, my viewers. This has been Louis of Louis Loves Minis, reminding you to hobby every day to keep the screws away. So I guess you wanted to know more about the model. Well, you see, if you're into Philippine history, or if you know your history, or if you're just very interested in why this guy has a KKK flag, this is actually the Katipunero flag. I'm terrible at Philippine history, so I'll just put the meaning of KKK here. But this is really like a little joke or mishmash of a Blood Angels kit and the well-known figure in Philippine history, which is Andres Bonifacio. I thought his name would work well with Blood Angels, with Angels Blood, Andres, Ang, Angels, Andres, Bonifacio, Blood, Bloodifacio, and it basically became his name, and he's leading the charge, and he is liberating his home planet from oppressors and colonizers from a different world. Sound familiar? And if you see the tile here, it's called Broken Stone. In Philippine history, there's a place called Biak na Bato, which in English means broken stone. And that's just one of the locations, or one of the early beginnings of this revolution. And it's one of the places where Filipinos defied their Spanish oppressors and started the revolution. So instead of in the grim darkness there is only war, in the grim darkness of the future, there's only revolution. I hope it satisfied you curious guys out there, and I hope I didn't offend anyone who really knows their Philippine history. I feel quite terrible that I wasn't able to recount that as smoothly as I wanted, but that's basically my model. Thanks for staying. Thanks for watching up to this very end, you single few out there. I'm also on Instagram, look me up. And just message me if anytime. I love giving hobby advice. This is why I made this vlog, so just message me, and if I have my free time, I'll hit you guys back up and I'll help you out. Have a good day. It's weird closing this video without saying my usual motto. Yeah, bye guys.